The new Apple TV 4K 2026 is not just another small box for Netflix. This could be Apple's biggest living room upgrade in years. But here is the strange part. Apple did not announce it at WWDC. Why? Was it not ready? Was Apple hiding it? Or is Apple waiting for the perfect moment? And more important, should you buy the current Apple TV 4K right now? Or should you wait? Let's talk clearly, because this one is not as simple as it looks. First, let's start with WWDC. At WWDC 2026, Apple talked about software iOS, iPadOS, macOS, watchOS, visionOS, and tvOS. But the new Apple TV 4K hardware, nothing. Not even a small teaser, and that surprised a lot of people, because rumors were already strong. A new chip, more RAM, better Wi-Fi, new Siri features, Apple Intelligence support. So why did Apple stay quiet? Here is the most likely reason. Apple did not want to show the box without the full software story. Think about it. What is the point of launching a new Apple TV with a powerful chip if the new Siri experience is not ready? Would you buy a new Apple TV just for faster app opening? Maybe. But would you get excited if Apple says new Siri, smarter search, better home control, Apple Intelligence on your TV? Now that sounds like a real upgrade, and that is where the story gets interesting. The current Apple TV 4K came out in 2022. That means it is already around 4 years old. It still runs very well. But inside, it uses the A15 Bionic chip. That chip is fast, yes, but it was not made for Apple Intelligence. And this is the big problem. Apple Intelligence needs more power. It also needs more memory. Most reports say Apple's AI features need around 8 GB RAM to work properly. The current Apple TV 4K is believed to have around 4 GB RAM. So now ask yourself this. Can Apple bring real Apple Intelligence to a 4 GB Apple TV? Most likely no. And that is why the 2026 Apple TV 4K matters. The biggest rumored upgrade is the A17 Pro chip. Yes, the same chip family Apple used in the iPhone 15 Pro. That is a big jump from a 15, not a small jump. A 17 Pro is a 3nm chip. It has stronger CPU power. It has a much better GPU. And it also supports hardware ray tracing. Now you may ask, why does ray tracing matter on Apple TV? Simple. Gaming. Apple has been trying to make Apple TV more serious for gaming for years. But the old hardware was never strong enough to feel like a real console. With a 17 Pro, things change. Games can look better, graphics can be smoother, Apple Arcade can get stronger, and big console-style games can run better. Now be honest, would you use Apple TV for gaming if it actually had enough power? Because this is where Apple may be going. Not full PlayStation replacement, not Xbox killer yet, but a powerful living room gaming box. That makes sense. Now let's talk RAM. This is the part most people are missing. A faster chip is not enough. If Apple wants new Siri and Apple Intelligence on Apple TV, it needs more memory. That is why many reports expect the new model to move from around 4 GB RAM to around 8 GB RAM. And that one change is huge. Why? Because RAM is what helps the device keep apps ready. It helps fast switching. It helps Siri understand things faster. It helps AI features run on device. It helps the system feel smooth for years. So this is not just a number. 4 GB to 8 GB could be the difference between a normal streaming box and a smart home brain. But now we have a problem. RAM is expensive right now. Memory chips are in high demand. Why? Because AI companies are buying huge amounts of memory for data centers. Every AI server needs memory. Every AI chip needs memory. And because of that, DRAM and NAND prices are going up. This affects phones. It affects laptops. It affects, and yes, it can affect Apple TV too. So when people say Apple delayed products because of RAM issues, that is not crazy. Memory cost is a real problem. But let's be very clear. Apple is not suddenly going to build RAM factories tomorrow. Apple designs its own chips. Apple designs its own processors. Apple is moving toward its own Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chips. But RAM manufacturing is a different business. That is Samsung, SK Hynix, Micron, and other memory suppliers. So the real story is not Apple will make RAM itself. The real story is this: Apple wants more control over chips, more control over wireless, more control over performance, more control over supply. And that is why the new Apple TV may use Apple's own wireless chip. This chip is rumored under names like Proxima or N1. What does that mean for you? Better Wi-Fi, better Bluetooth, better connection with HomePod, better AirPlay, better smart home control, and maybe Wi-Fi 7 support. Now tell me, how many times has your streaming app buffered even when your internet is fast? That is where better Wi-Fi matters. Apple TV is already one of the smoothest streaming boxes. But with Wi-Fi 7, it can be even more stable, especially if you stream 4K HDR, especially if your house has many devices. Phones, tablets, laptops, smart cameras, HomePods, smart lights. Everything is fighting for Wi-Fi, so a better wireless chip is not boring. It directly affects your daily experience. Now let's talk design. Do not expect a crazy new look. Most reports say the design will stay almost the same. Small black box, clean shape, simple look. And honestly, that is fine, because Apple TV does not need to look different. It sits near your TV. Most people do not even see it every day. The real upgrade is inside. Chip, RAM, Wi-Fi, Siri, Apple Intelligence, smart home control, that is the real story. Now the big question, why did Apple skip WWDC? Because WWDC is not always the place for this type of hardware. Apple likes to keep hardware for a proper launch moment. And if this Apple TV is connected to new Siri, Apple may want to show everything together. Imagine Apple launching it like this. Here is the new Apple TV 4K powered by a 17 Pro, built for Apple Intelligence, with smarter Siri, with better home control, with faster Wi-Fi, with stronger gaming. That sounds much better than a small WWDC mention. And Apple knows that. Now let's talk about buyers. Should you buy the current Apple TV 4K right now? If your old device is broken, yes, the current one is still good. It is fast. It supports 4K HDR. It supports Dolby Vision. It supports Dolby Atmos. It has a clean interface. No cheap ads everywhere like many smart TV systems. But if you already have a working Apple TV 4K, I would wait. Because the 2026 model could be a big long-term upgrade. Not because the old one is bad, but because the new one may be built for the next Apple ecosystem. New Siri, Apple Intelligence, better gaming, better Wi-Fi, better smart home support, and maybe longer software life. Here is another clue. tvOS 27 drops support for older Apple TV models. Apple TV HD from 2015, and first general Apple TV 4K from 2017. That matters. Because when Apple starts cutting older hardware, it usually means the software is moving forward. New features need stronger chips, and that makes the new Apple TV more important. Now think about this. Why would Apple bring smarter Siri to TV? Because your TV is the center of your home. You watch movies there. You play music there. You control smart home devices there. You use FaceTime there. You connect HomePods there. You use AirPlay there. So Apple TV is not just a streaming device anymore. It can become the home hub. And if Apple gives it a 17 Pro with 8 GB RAM, that box becomes much more powerful than people expect. Now here is the buying advice. If you just want Netflix, YouTube, and Disney plus the current Apple TV is enough. But if you care about future features, wait. If you care about Apple Intelligence, wait. If you care about new Siri, wait. If you care about gaming, wait. If you care about Wi-Fi 7, wait. If you want the best Apple TV for the next 4 to 5 years, wait, because this is the model that may finally make Apple TV feel new again. But also remember this, nothing is official yet. Apple has not confirmed the new Apple TV 4K 2026. Apple has not confirmed the chip. Apple has not confirmed 8 GB RAM. Apple has not confirmed price. So do not treat every leak like a final product. But when multiple reports point in the same direction, a 17 Pro, more RAM, better wireless, new Siri, Apple Intelligence, then yes, something is clearly happening. Now the final question is simple. Is this the ultimate upgrade? For normal users, maybe not. For people who only stream movies, the old Apple TV is still fine. But for Apple ecosystem users, this could be the ultimate upgrade. Because it is not just about watching TV. It is about turning your TV into a smarter Apple device, a stronger home hub, a better gaming box, a faster streaming machine, and maybe the first Apple TV built for Apple Intelligence. So before you buy the current Apple TV 4K, wait and think. Do you want the safe old model? Or do you want the next one that may change Apple TV for years? Now tell me honestly, if Apple launches this with a 17 Pro, 8 GB RAM, Wi-Fi 7, and new Siri, are you buying it? Or are you still keeping your current Apple TV? Comment your answer.